It's peak fall here in Atlanta. The leaves are falling, the weather is gorgeous, and all I can think about is preparing for winter. My pantry is a mess, so I went to IKEA to get a new shelf to add some more space, and I'll also be learning how to can for the very first time. And lastly, I'll be making some fire cider to add to my winter pantry to help ward off the winter sniffles. So grab a cozy beverage and organize my pantry with me. Welcome to my pantry. When I moved into this house, I was so excited to have such a large pantry because in our previous home, we had a teeny tiny pantry. However, there were no shelves in here. It was literally an empty room with a hot water heater over here. So I got these shelves from IKEA, which I'll bring the camera here in a second, and put up all the stuff that we had. It seemed like enough space at the time. These were things that we just had, like that we had. I don't even know what we used them for before. It was not in a pantry setting, but it was stuff that we had that we needed space, like a place to put them. So I just put it here. However, as time has gone by, I've realized that we need more food storage space. So I want to replace this section with another IKEA shelf. And I'll show what it actually looks like. So this is our food shelf, and you can see it's very full and looks disorganized. There's canned goods way back there. You just can't really see them. This is kind of like my baking shelf. It has like flowers and stuff. And then we have cleaning stuff up here, which is not proper food safety. If you have worked in restaurants before, you know you're not supposed to store chemicals above food, but we didn't really have other options. And then this shelf is extra vitamins, hardware, tools, our our medicine stash cabinet, like how we keep our medicines organized, and then first aid at the bottom. Have Nix's food in this bin. We have a little bit of water storage, and then these are like vacuum supplies, wall like extra spackle, and then these are kind of extra tools. These buckets have flour and rice. It's how we have just stored extra because in our previous home, like I said, we didn't have a lot of space, so that's how we stored it. But my poor potatoes and sweet potatoes that I've harvested for my garden have never made it out of these bins because I didn't have room for to like lay them out the way I felt like they should have been. So I went to IKEA, got another shelf. It's going to go right here, and we will reorganize the pantry and get it ready for winter storage. Okay, now that I've put the shelf together, I need to clear out the space in here to make room and then start reorganizing. Okay, now that I have it up, now I don't know how I want to redecorate it or reorganize it. So when I was putting the shelf together, I had the idea to make the bottom shelf tall enough so that this drawer thing could still sit in here. But now I'm trying to decide if I want to keep it like that or if I want to do something different. Maybe put this drawer on the bottom and then take this out and put it somewhere else. Because I wanted this to be the food shelf so that when we're walking in, we could just see the food. But with the exception of like making this taller because I didn't want to redo the other shelves to redo the shelves because I would have had to unmount them and everything. So yeah, let's do this. This actually goes back in this drawer. Because it's convenient to have this white shelf or this white drawer in front of this plug because it has a vacuum, like a handheld vacuum, so I can just plug it up. Well, I was going to put my sweet potatoes on this shelf with my other potatoes, but Nyx keeps trying to steal them, and this is right at her face level. So I'll need to maybe rearrange and put the stuff up higher. We already keep bread in the pantry. We don't keep it on the counter because Celine will try to eat the bread. So I'm trying to get creative here in what I put on this shelf versus what I have on this shelf. Like some stuff's gonna have to stay. I think I'm not gonna be able to transition this one to the only food shelf. I never showed my sweet potato harvest, but I got a good bit, like several pounds, and I never really did anything with them yet. I've never canned anything ever. It's something I've wanted to learn how to do for a really long time. And I think tomatoes are the biggest goal for a lot of people, which it is for me for sure. But for some reason, tomatoes seem more intimidating than pickles. And I did not get a cucumber harvest this year at all, but I did get quite a few peppers. So I'm going to pickle these peppers and then water bath can them. So first I have to prepare the peppers and de-seed them. And I think you can peppers with the seeds, but it's just a personal preference. I don't want a ton of seeds because these peppers are very seedy. Just in this clip alone, I think I did like 3 or 4 peppers and it's so many seeds. So it takes me quite a while to actually prepare the peppers for canning. There's something that seems so magical about preserving food in this very old-fashioned way. Because, first of all, I grew these peppers and they grew really well. So that's magical on its own. I've expressed in videos before about how magical I think the earth is. And now I'm going to take vinegar and basically hot water and preserve these peppers to eat for the next year or so. I think they'll keep for at least a year. And even after that, they're still safe to eat. It's just the quality might not be as good. And I just think that's so magical. I am so proud of myself for trying this finally. And I used things that I already had. So I used a stock pot that I already had. That little spatula that I used to make sure the peppers were all stuffed down, I already had that. I already had the funnel from when we used to make overnight oats all the time. I did buy new jars because I didn't know if I had the right jars, and you need new lids as well, like brand new lids. And I did buy the little can lifter, the jar lifter, but everything else I pretty much already had because I wanted to make sure that I was comfortable doing this before I invested even more into it. But because this was so successful, I'm definitely going to invest in a larger water bath canner and continue on this journey, and potentially even can my tomatoes that are still in my freezer from the summer. At this point, I'm anxiously watching the pot because it is a stock pot. It's not a water bath canner. So I was trying to make sure that it didn't boil over, but it literally takes 10 minutes and then it's done. And then you let it rest for 5 minutes and basically make sure that the cans don't cool off too quickly, because then that can make the pressure change too fast. So I let it sit for 5 minutes, and then now I'm just carefully lifting them out of the water bath and onto the cutting board because it's heat safe, and they'll rest there for ideally 24 hours so that they can completely cool off and the seal can completely compress and the pressure can even out. So we will check on them in the morning. So I thought that Fire Cider would be a good addition to my winter pantry, since it's known to ward off various ailments like the cold and the flu. And it's very simple. You just mix the onions, ginger, horseradish, garlic, and pepper in raw apple cider vinegar to infuse the vinegar with the properties of each ingredient, which are all very pungent, but they're also very good for your immune system. And there are many ways to make it, but I chose to go with Rosemary Gladstar's recipe because it's very simple and you can add other things once you've strained out all the ingredients. And the ginger came from my garden. I actually grew it, as well as the pepper. But next year my goal is to grow all of the ingredients, so the onions and the horseradish and garlic too, so I can infuse it with even more of my own personal magic. I'm so happy with how this turned out. It's so much more organized, and we have so much more space to continue stocking up for the winter. And it's so much easier to see what we do have, which obviously we have a ton of spaghetti. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.